Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
You are now tuned into the cut.
Cutting and scratching.
Cut.
My cut is correct.
Each cut is totally arranged.
Why chillin' the cut.
Yo, welcome to The Cut. Your man, Uncle Catfish, DJ IV as always.
You know what it is?
And this week, we're going a little above and beyond. We have one of the greatest Canadian rap groups ever in the building, a pillar of the East Coast scene. Without saying any more, we got U-Soul in the cut.
What's up? So glad to be here, man. Yes.
Gentlemen, U-Soul is in the building.
Yes, sir.
In the building.
In the building.
When's the first time you guys sat down and did an interview as U-Soul?
Oh, man. A long
The
time
last
ago.
time was with you.
1989, the number. Another summer. Get down. Probably then.
1989?
No, we weren't Universal Soul then.
Nah, down by days, bro.
But it was a long
All
time
right, let's go
ago.
right to that moment. I want to go to that moment in
All right.
history. I want to jump right in because there's a lot with you guys.
Okay.
How does Down by Law become Universal Soul?
So Down by Law becomes Universal Soul by, I guess, a loss of vision.
A loss of vision.
A loss of vision, yeah. Down by Law, as far as I'm concerned, went as far as it could go with respect to me doing my thing, and I realized that I had to get out, right? So, and I'm being cryptic in that, but the point is that I realized that I had to get out and I had to recreate what I felt, right? And so that was really just trying to grab my man Dave out of Coyote,
Yeah.
who was a dancer at the time, and really just kind of starting something, which ended up being called a group called Black Season.
Yeah.
And so we had literally done the Public Enemy show. That was like our last thing that's Down by Law.
What year is that? What year is the public?
So that would have been 89.
89.
Yeah. So anyway, so long story short is we came off of that on a high. Wanted to start something that was fresh, that was vibrant. So me and Dave just started writing, starting getting really political.
Yeah.
It turned into doing a lot of shows in Dal for us, which was awesome. But then it just had to graduate, right? So
Right.
so the point is that, like, you know, we started doing that, and then Tracy came along. Well, Tracy was not even came along. Tracy was always there, and was basically like just trying to get him to figure out what he wanted to do, because he was more of like, you know, just spitting. This guy's got bars for days, but would never write anything down, right? So we just kept on like getting at him, and
You started
finally.
as a dancer?
No, he wasn't a dancer. No, he wasn't a dancer.
I'm just
Not that I couldn't dance. I couldn't dance.
No,
I
he
wasn't one of those,
he could dance,
you
but
know,
he wasn't like,
I
yeah.
wasn't one of those.
It wasn't like a Tupac did.
No.
No. I was getting that. See,
No.
My dancing was
Sex
mostly with
packets,
the
$1
females.
for $3.
Yeah.
I was that guy.
No, he was, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So anyway, so we broke it down where it was like, okay, we got something here. We're all friends. We all got the same kind of vision. Let's do this.
Right.
And so the whole idea was obviously sampling music from different genres, different sounds, and that's how Universal Soul kind of came to be. You know what I mean?
From your point of view, as you see that, like, tell me that story a little bit from your angle, because are you, as you're seeing Down by Law, like, what's your relationship
Well,
with Down by Law? Is it
here's
sort of
the-
falling
here's the-
apart, if you will?
Well, you know what? The thing was with Down by Law. See, I was just a hype guy, right? It's like, I used to back in those
Shout out
days,
to the hype guys.
I used to freestyle. I was like the Flavor Flav of the crew. You know what I'm
I
saying?
can
Like
see
I
it.
would be that hype guy.
I can
You know,
see it.
yeah, man. You know, what was it? Oh.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
the
We were
dance,
doing that
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But
The right stuff.
No.
no,
You're
but
way off. You're way
there's
off.
a couple things that I,
No,
but there's a couple things that I will come
He
up
thugged
with.
it out on that one.
I think it doesn't surprise me.
No, but there's a couple things that I would come up with Down by Law as being a hype guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, remember, Down by Law,
Mm-hmm.
we want you to get funky. Down, you know, like
That
I
was the
came up
thing?
with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact of the
That
matter
was
is,
the
no, I come up with different things, but I wasn't really into trying to write back then because I was still playing basketball and trying
Yeah.
to be a ball player and played sports and I had a whole bunch of stuff, chasing after girls, all kinds of stuff at that time. So I wasn't really trying to be rapping and hey, I'll come do a show with you, hell yeah, because that means I get more girls.
Right.
But I mean the fact that matters, like
The
as
spark
far
never
as
hit you at that point to just be
no,
a
not
rapper?
really. To tell you the truth, the spark hit me. Ironically, when these guys were doing Kyber stuff, and I was in New Glasgow going to high school, and I was just always Finley would call me every week. Every week, this guy called me, yeah, man, we got a show tonight, man. I got to take off, and I'm like, man, damn, I got to play a game tomorrow, or I got to play in a basketball tournament. Or Oh, you got another show? Oh, then I come down to a few shows, and this is like the first time that I met Luke and those guys, all that crew. Like Nate C
So
and
like
all the guys
pavilion
back
shows?
in the day.
Like,
Pavilion, Kyber, like that type of
yeah,
stuff.
Cafe
right?
Olay shows,
Cafe
I mean.
Olay, yeah. So
Yeah.
as I say, I was coming and hanging. Now that being said, as I say, when it came to the Down by Law to the split, I was more of a. I'd have to say, would we say, is it safe to say mediator? When it came to some issues between certain people in the crew, because I didn't take any sides. You know what I'm
Down by
saying?
Law?
Yeah, when the split, like that CKDU that night.
Oh.
Oh,
What's,
tell us about that.
what's this night about?
No, there was
Take us to CKDU.
No, but there was an argument. There was an argument amongst the crew.
On
I'm not
air?
trying to-
On air?
No, it's just an argument. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to name any names or anything like that. It's just that there was a line drawn in the sand.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was kind of in the middle of the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was friends with everybody and related to some people. And, like, I'm not going to choose any sides because I love everybody in the crew. I still do to this day.
Right.
But it was like certain people wanted to go a certain way and certain people wanted to go the other way. And I was like, dude, I'm not choosing either.
Right.
I love y'all. So I'm not, you know what I mean? So that's when it came to the split. I didn't, basically safe to say I chose a side in the end. But
Right.
at the time, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to be Mr. Okay, come on, guys, let's patch this up, man. We're crew. You know what I mean? But certain people wanted to go their way. Certain people went the other way.
I think that happens in most groups.
Yeah,
You know what
so,
I mean? Like everybody.
Like it's natural.
Everybody, exactly, it's natural. Everybody has their idea of what they want to do, where
Yeah.
they want to go, how they want to see themselves. And I think for us, it was like, this is the way that we see ourselves. This is the way
Yeah.
that it's actually going right now.
Right.
So we just had to evolve and just had to break from that, and that's what
Yeah,
caused that division. But it was a good division. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it wasn't.
because,
It wasn't.
I mean, here's the thing. To this day, we all still have love. We all love each other. Like
Absolutely.
there is no hate at all.
No.
It was just that when you're young and you're I'm not even gonna say when you're teenagers, because we all were teenagers at the time. We have different views. We have different paths we're gonna follow, and that's just the way that crew went. You know what I mean? Like at the time, it was no joke. We were. When we were on stage, man, we were untouchable, man. It was pretty dope.
and
back
and
then.
it's crazy.
But,
I got to note the fact that just like what he's saying is that we really were untouchable. I don't mean that in a cocky way. I mean that like realistically, like
Well, how
before,
so?
Well, before the days of the internet, really, like before YouTube, before Facebook, before Instagram, like
man.
it was posters on a pole, packing shows.
Yeah,
Like
man, it was
that's
crazy.
how we had it.
Dog, it
You know
was
what I mean?
crazy.
Like it was incredible, man. Like it's
scene-
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Scene
it was
used to
just
be
still
so
a word of
vibrant.
mouth type of thing.
Totally
Yeah,
word
but
of mouth.
like-
But
I mean,
this-
I mean to get a kid all the way from Enfield, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Luke,
True.
To get it,
You know what I
to get
mean?
a kid all the way
You know,
from Fredericton,
all the
or
way
from
down
Toronto
to come
here,
to
you
come
know what I mean?
hear these shows and be like, oh man, I want to be a part of this. Like that's how word spreads. You know what I mean?
But the scene was so vibrant back then. It was so vibrant, though. You know what I mean? It was crazy. It was just,
What made it so vibrant? You think that's different from right
it
now?
was you know what, man? It was the actual value that people had for the music at the time. You know what I mean? Music's so disposable now, right?
Right.
Like we'll listen to a song 2 months later, forget it. We don't even know who the artist was. Back then, you remembered an artist. You actually went and bought their album, as we know, right? You went and bought their vinyl, or you bought their cassette tape,
Sure.
and you actually, some people saved up to buy that cassette tape, or like for myself, I had to do my chores with my mom, as you know, and that's what I spent my money on: kicks and music.
And I think there's
That
a lot
was
to
it.
be said about
You know what
that
I mean?
because like now it's like what's your favorite song as
Right.
opposed to what's your favorite artist.
But do
You
you
know what I mean?
think
Like it's just nobody's really riding for that artist. It's like what's hot right now? Whose song is hot right now? You know?
right?
Well, hey man, it's, as I say, it's the newest, latest, man. It's the newest, latest. It's always.
I
gonna
find
be
it
the newest.
one of the things with you guys that I've always found kind of interesting is the name itself. Like it's such a large name. It's such a huge thing. And actually like it feels sometimes like it could almost be like you could put the word church or cult at the end of it, like the Universal Soul Church. Like it feels like something so
Or
big,
circus?
so
Ah, stop it.
Or circus?
yeah.
big, or circus.
Thanks for stealing usoul.com there, usoul sir.
You know about this?
No,
Universal
Oh.
Soul Circus?
I know that in my research it pops up. When
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
We had the website for.
I have a theory though about the name. I want to
yeah,
run
well,
by.
they took usoul.com because we had it for how many years? How many years did we have it?
Oh,
Like
man, we had it for a long
a
time.
long time. And then as soon as we, we had a little hiatus, and as soon as the site came, they snatched it, and it was like, oh man, it's just a battle.
Knowing what you guys just told me about sort of, the birth of You Soul out of, a rupture or like a disharmony, of something
Well-
else. I find it interesting that you then choose a name for that group that is so, all embracing and loving, and like there couldn't be a more sort of warm name in a way. Like,
Was that David? That was David, wasn't it?
and I'm just wondering, was that a conscious, like, what were you thinking when you named, like, it's a big thing to name your group. It feels like almost like shiny, happy love, kind of like it's so over the top embracing. I'm just wondering, was that something you guys thought about?
It
Was
was
being like that?
I don't think it was something that we thought about. I think it was just a part of our beings. You know what I mean? Like we were always trying to like figure out new samples. You know what I mean? Just trying to let's sample this. Let's sample that violin. Let's
Right.
sample that horn. So we were always trying to dig deep and figure out what we were going to do next, and that's what created that whole universal sound. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got to add a little bit more to that. I think that even when I came along around like, what was it, 2000, 99, 2000, 2001, a lot of the people that we work with on our music were like different artists, like the Amelia Kearns and the the Steve McDougalls and
Yep.
that Craig, all these different types of artists.
Yeah.
And like we all listen to a whole bunch of different stuff other than hip hop, and we all play instruments. And I mean, like, just when
think-
it came to the actual feeling of the crew and that name, that embodies who we are.
Well, so
You know?
this week with the news of like the Khyber building being saved, at least
Yeah.
temporarily, like I think about some hubs like that when we talk about the scene, and maybe even more important than harkening back to like everybody knowing the song and technology kind of rolling backwards. Those places like that where you'd have that cross pollination, where you actually have people when you're talking about all these other
Yeah.
groups that you're interacting with, Rock and Slow Coaster and Amelia Kerr, like that happens because everybody's in the same spot.
That's right.
I mean, we talk about like Buck 65, or we talk about
No, we
Scratch
talk about
Bastard
Buck
and all
65.
that stuff coming out of Khyber, but at the same time, Joel Plaskett calls it his home base.
Yeah.
That's amazing that like that can happen, and those hubs I think are so
Sloan.
important. Something I want to read you guys though is about yourselves, about the name. Universal Soul was to live up to its name and incorporate all musical platforms, all. Jazz, funk, rock, blues, classical, and so on. We truly wanted to create not a sound for everybody or even for the masses, but to be musically influenced from all genres of music, lyrically as well. Just a song about the club, a political angle, love. The idea was to have no fear of topics, to write universally. That sound right?
That
That's
sounds
it.
right.
That's straight from the man Voodoo himself, who couldn't obviously be here, but has chimed in with some words about the group.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's with David, man.
yeah.
Does his research.
He, I appreciate that.
Listen, shouts
But
out
I
to
think,
Vu.
but I think something.
Shouts out to Vu.
Shouts out
Shouts
to
out to
Vu.
Zurich.
I think
Shouts
you
out to
guys
Vu.
were onto something there that goes back to what we're talking about again with the technology and the scene and that kind of thing. From what I'm understanding, you guys were writing to reach everybody, as if where you're from really matters. Because something about you, the way you write that I find interesting is it's very about here. Songs where I'm from, and 902, and it's, the idea that you hide where you're from at all would be ridiculous. Like very proud, but yet writing for everybody and making it something where it's like everybody gets this. This is about being proud of where you're from and these sort of things. I find that's awesome, and it seems like it's something that you guys have done right from the beginning.
So for me, you kind of tapped into something, right?
Yeah,
Because we're from the North End.
yeah,
The North End is for everybody.
okay.
You know what I mean? So everybody lives there. Everybody feels that vibe. Everybody gets it, and that's where the lyrics come from. You know what I mean? Where everybody should get it. Everybody
Right.
should understand. It should be that universal soul type of appeal. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because it's not just for one class of race, one class of people, one group. It's just across the board. It's why we are that approachable hip hop group. You know what I mean? That's why. When you see other groups, you know, sometimes it's like, well, but we're approachable, man. Like we're that group that just.
I gotta add something. To that,
Well,
too,
yeah, I
because
got a big question.
Just,
I
no,
want to
I,
ask you
I
about
just gotta
that.
add something real quick. Just with the way that we came up, like our neighborhood. You had a whole lot of different. It was so culturally diverse. You know what I mean? Like you had your Caucasians, you had your New Canadians, you had your Africans, you had your Vietnamese, you had your Japanese, you had your Greek, you had your Lebanese, you had, like all in the one little pocket of the city.
Right.
And the funny thing is that, you know, at the end of the day, when it came to the class system in this city, if you were a North Ender, you're a North Ender. It didn't matter black, white, green, or yellow.
That's right.
You got treated as a North Ender,
Yeah.
period. And I mean, when it came to our music, you know what I'm saying? It came to when we started rapping and stuff like that. I'm just going to say for me. I have to just say for me. I can't speak for him. I can't speak for him or for Vu. But, you know, like when it came to the rapping part of it, you know, we did so much stuff with so many different people. You know what? When it like from going to school, playing ball, who we dated, who we laughed with, cried with, all that type of stuff, and it came out in what we were writing about.
Let me ask
So,
you a big
know,
one. Do you think that class unites people more than race? That's a big question.
In my opinion,
That's a
in
big
my-
one.
I-
This could be part
I-
one
I-
of
I-
17 million.
I don't know right now. Just judging by with all this social media stuff and the influence that it plays on how people think and how people do stuff and
Right.
how this world evolves now. I don't know. I don't know if it's safe to say that. I think that money has a lot to do with a lot of things, and I think that a lot of stuff that we were hoping would leave is starting to trickle back in.
Yeah.
It's making its way back in, but it's like anything, right? It's like, you know, like love is unconditional, and love it lasts forever, but hate's it's trying to you know, it's trying to get back in there. You know, not to take from Radio Raheem from Do the Right Thing, but it's coming. And you know what I mean? It's always
is,
trying
yeah.
to work its way in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. You know, I know myself personally. There's no class, no nothing. Either you're a good person or you're not. If you're not a good person, you're not around me.
Right.
So that's just it for me. I don't care black, white, green, or yellow. You know, it doesn't matter to me. But if you're not good, you're not going to be in my presence.
Well, it's just interesting talking about the geographic area of the North End of Halifax. Like, there
Yeah.
was a time, I think, where maybe the class reality of that area was sort of similar. And so all the sort of ethnicity, everybody's kind of in the same situation. And now look at the North End. I mean, and look at that as an example of sort of our whole situation is it's become very like gentrified and very gentrified along racial lines mostly too.
Yeah.
So you kind of get this division now where it's like races start to be divided over class, like access to. So it's, I don't know, like I think it's exacerbating both. But I think it's something else you don't get a universal soul. That's why I'm bringing it up with you guys. You don't get a universal soul, and maybe you don't get a hip hop without that kind of blending that happens when those situations actually occur in sort of the right dynamic. As much as we wouldn't be like, oh, I want to have an area where everybody kind of has to, like, sometimes it rises out of areas that aren't necessarily the ideal situation. It's like there'll be poor areas or
You know,
crime or something,
just-
but that's where maybe there's unification there.
Honestly, I feel like it's just a formula for the area. You know what I
Talk
mean?
to me.
And,
Talk to me.
well, for us, it just happened to be a formula that worked in this province.
Right.
Maybe it's different in other places.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for us, for right here, that worked for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just feel like that's the thing that, regardless of class or race or what people think or whatever, it would just happened to be a formula where we were coming up with music that was good. You know what I mean? And that people could listen to and enjoy. There's not a soul that doesn't get up and dance. You know what I mean? Like it's rare, you know what I mean? To have somebody not come up and dance or not, you know, hey, you know. So it feels good to be able to get somebody old. Man, I love that stuff you do.
Right,
you know.
right,
Well, you know what?
Love that
I'll
stuff.
say this. I'll say this. A thing that freaked me out is we did something over at Grand Creighton there a little while ago for the kids, and we had about 80 kids in a classroom doing role models on the road. And that, like, for the place that I work for by day, Philly knows what I'm talking about, and Ivy knows what I'm talking about. we had certain role models like Quintrell Provo, Terry Thomas, Caleb Borden, and we had Jesse Bowden. And the kids, I was introducing myself, and the kids like, we know who you are. And I was like, okay. And they're like, yeah, you guys, you're in that Universal Soul. We know who you are. You guys do that song, Hands Off My Lady. The thing that freaked me out is the kids, they love that song. And it wasn't necessarily, they loved the beat. I said, I asked the kids, what do you like about it? They said, your message in it. And I couldn't believe that. It freaked me out, man. I was humbled at that time. And when it comes to, I'm just trying to piggyback on what Finley's talking about. When it comes to like the music that we do, when we do dance music, yeah, man, you better shake your behind. Yeah. When we do philosophical and like political and stuff, you better listen,
right?
Because we're speaking real. We speak the truth. One thing we don't do in our music, and can you use bad language on this place?
Certainly.
Oh yeah.
We don't bullshit. Mm-hmm. What you see is what you get when it comes to us.
The other thing that I got before you ask that question, just a level of so. I just gotta call it as it is. This guy's kind of leveled us out as well. You know what I mean? Like just being closer to the streets, knowing what's going on sometimes. So just being that, because we've done it all. So to come in from the level of where he's at right now, just to be like, man, guys, consider this. You should think about this. What about that? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like just coming in.
Yeah.
Do you mean in like the sound or the like in what way? In what way? To break that down a bit more.
So like in the sound, like what we're trying to do, Ivy will come in and be like, did you ever think about this? Did you ever think about maybe like doing it this way? Sometimes I'll have a conversation with him just to see where his head's at. Just a one-on-one. Just because I really value his insight on things. You know what I mean? Not to say that I don't value our stuff, but I got to give him some love too, because like that's really behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Where sometimes I really value what this guy's saying. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's something I wanted to touch on at some point because obviously Universal Soul's had 2 DJs in there or more. Am I right? Just 2?
Nah, just
2.
I just wondered if there was ever any interstitial people that were in there.
No, Joe Run and Ivy. That's it.
What do you think the biggest difference is between those 2 eras? Can you draw a line there where you see like a change in the production?
I don't make banger and beats like Joe Run. That's the biggest difference.
You think?
I feel like that's.
I can't even be compared to any level.
I feel like that's
Joe
kind
Run.
of the nail in the coffin right there. Is that he's a genius when it comes to that kind of stuff. He had an insight.
Right.
You know, like how an artist just kind of.
No, he's like one of a kind.
It's something that's
he's a master.
It's something that you really can't describe because I don't get it. I'm not, and that's a compliment to Joe.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like the way he sees, like when we do music and stuff like that, when we perform, like myself personally, I see my lyrics before I'm about to say them when I'm on stage. That's just in my head. I see them. Right. You know what I'm saying? Joe Run sees music. He sees the notes. He sees the break. He sees, let me drop this. He sees it before he does it. And that's the thing that freaks me out the most about him. You know what I mean? Like he'll come, like, okay, true story, where I'm like 13, 14. My mom has a very extensive record collection. Like you would lose your mind if you got into a record collection. Joe Run was allowed access. He's the only DJ, producer, or whatever, that my mother allowed access to her record collection. Period.
He was probably freaking.
He was tripping out. To this day, when I run into him, how's your mother doing, man? And I know he's thinking in the back of his mind, she still has that record collection. You know what I mean? But he created a few things. Like there's one song that's on Time Capsule that he took a sample from an album that my mom let him use.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to this day, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he created the beat with that sample and made it sound like it sounded. You know what I mean? Like I don't get that. And I make beats too, and I made a couple beats with this guy. And I didn't get it. You know what I mean?
One of a kind.
Like he's
he's
on another level, man. Like
I mean without him, I don't know if I would have even be like dipped into the hip hop game as much.
Didn't you meet him like very early in your?
I literally just moved to Nova Scotia. Yeah. And that summer I met him.
Yeah.
And then
how long till you met David when you're fighting over like Godzilla or something?
Oh man, I can't believe David, you're funny, man. Wow. You're funny. This guy breaking it down.
You brought that one out?
Man. Yeah, so that would have been like the same summer. Yeah, that would have been the same summer. And yeah.
Godzilla? Whose
the-
Godzilla was
see,
it?
No. Here's the point, though.
But tell me about who.
So I'm from NDG, right? So I didn't have a whole lot,
Yeah.
but I wanted that Godzilla. That was mine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
David,
Got
let him know.
Nardwar up
Yeah.
in here, man. I'm gonna start
telling
comparing this
you,
guy
man.
Nardwar. Do.
He got the
You know what I mean?
research.
So
Like,
here's
come on.
but here's the
Research.
question I want to ask you guys, and it's something that it sort of shocks me when I think about Universal Soul. If somebody looked at what you guys have done in terms of your career, they might say, "Wow, I would love to achieve that level of love from the scene, support. Like you guys do a show, people come out, the longevity, all these things. But what's missing in there is the production, like the albums. I mean, there's tracks, but like there's like 2 albums in 20 years. And if somebody wrote that down and said, "Here's my recipe for how I'm going to succeed," I would not write that down. That
No.
doesn't seem.
Well-
No,
So,
you're
but
right.
how did that happen for people so energetic, like out there performing? Why so little in terms of finished product? And how do you have? And second part, how do you have such a following when people have no attention for music? How the hell do you maintain a fan base when people are literally like, "What's the new thing?" When you don't even have new things coming all the time. That's not a diss to you, it's just true. How often does new stuff come out? Not often, but you maintain a big supportive fan base. How the hell does that work?
I see him ready. I see him ready.
I'm just
Square
gonna say
that
this.
math
I'm
up
gonna,
for
I'm
me.
gonna
I don't
say this, man.
understand.
There are certain groups, say like the Tribe Called Quest, and I'm not trying to say that we're on their level or anything like that, but the Tribe Called Quest, the De La Souls, the Public Enemy, that have a cult following, that have people that are just
Yeah.
diehard fans.
What do you think it is that made
And-
that cult following?
I think it's probably my opinion, our realness. That's what I think. I think the fact that we're, as Finley said earlier, we're approachable. We're
Did you guys talk about that
We're attainable.
openly?
You know.
Do you talk
So-
about? Have you ever
so
talked
my-
about that,
so
like
my-
not swearing?
So my thing is like we are approachable to the point where it's like you're comfortable. My whole thing as an MC has always been, if you're not having fun, I'm not doing my job. It's always been that way. So if you're dancing, if you're in it, then I'm doing a good job.
Let me ask you.
I'm an
brother.
entertainer, man.
Let me ask you a question then. You guys don't have music that's like devoid though of message. So I would say, would you agree that you think it's probably easier to get a message across to somebody when they're in a good mood and having a good time than coming at them aggressively and kind of yelling it at them? Because you guys tackle all kinds of political issues. I could see you going the other way and be like this song is in your face and it's naming names and it's angry, but you guys don't ever get angry.
No.
You might, flex on a song
A
a
couple
little.
braggadocious songs.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
yeah.
but
Anything
that's
angry,
different, though, but
like-
not.
Yeah, but
but not. You
that-
don't
I
get
love-
angry.
I
You
love
don't
those
swear.
things. You know what I mean?
Have you talked about that as a secret to like success on those? Like I could put you on any stage.
Exactly.
That's kind of like the whole thing that it's been.
Wow.
It's like, if you don't curse, then you're playable everywhere.
Well,
You know,
I'll put
Was
it-
that something that
I'll
came
put it
first
this
or
way.
second? Like, did
I'll
you
put it
think
this
about
way.
that and then, or was it
So-
you were already doing
so-
that?
I gotta sound off. real quick.
Hold
I
on
gotta
one
sound
second.
off. I
No,
gotta
no,
sound
hold
off.
on, hold on one second.
We got him going now.
No, you're gonna like what I'm gonna say.
No, I gotta speak my piece.
Tune
now.
in next
You're gonna
time.
like. No, you're gonna like what I'm gonna say. So,
right,
so
go
this,
ahead,
so
man.
this is how we started
I'm gonna
off
take a
with
shot while y'all
with
do
the. You do that.
I need to.
So when we started off with the time capsule,
Uh-huh.
this was our opportunity to get out there, right? So we were creative with it. We cursed, right? We had a couple of rhymes that were like, F this and S that, and it is whatever. I mean, curses are curses. But this guy comes around and he goes, man, we should really, on the next album, like we should really, really focus on not cursing at all. Like we should really, like that should be the thing that we do. That should be almost like a gimmick where it's like, because you don't need to curse. He really modeled it after like, if I could have my parents listen to it, my grandmother listen to it, well then I'm good. You know what I mean? And
I think it makes you a better lyricist.
and it just makes me feel like we were able to get into some stuff, to be able to, just like you said, to be on any stage.
Yeah.
You're playable, right? So okay, now you can go.
Why were you thinking that? Why were you in that mindset that you're like, we should get rid of this? Nobody does that in rap.
Because my favorite MC is Rakim,
Okay.
and Rakim never cursed.
Yeah,
He had a couple of but he never dropped no F bombs or no S bombs or no BI.
It was very limited.
He never
Yeah,
dropped
very.
that.
Straight
You know what
up.
I'm saying? Like he barely ever cursed.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Kane barely ever cursed. You know what I'm saying?
Do you
like
think-
Public Enemy had a few things, but
I think that's still a
compared to a
hallmark
lot
of
of
the,
stuff that's going on
of the
now.
respect element
you
of
know?
hip hop that was there in the earlier days.
But see,
you know,
but
Mm-hmm.
respect for like upliftment of community and that stuff. You're not uplifting your community if you're swearing, and
Yeah.
also you're not getting on in front of the community
But
if
an-
you're not someone who can represent the community. So there was that sort of double-edged thing of
But
like,
Cat, I'll say this to you though, like I listened to a lot of Too Short back in the day, right?
yeah,
And Too Short, like every second word was whatever, right?
uh-huh.
And I'm thinking to myself, if that works for him and he didn't really change his style, what if we reverse that? You know what I mean? Reverse that on him
Okay.
and come with, just, good lyrics, but nothing crazy. We don't go, and I'm not talking about nothing crazy as in we're not experimental or whatever. I'm saying nothing, too risque.
But also became really beneficial for us where like our fans could bring their kids
Yeah, man.
to our
Right,
shows.
right.
So like, when we do community jams out on the sidewalk on Goddard Street or something like that, like everybody could just come out and parents wouldn't have to worry about the kids sitting there and N-bombs, F-bombs,
Well, I mean, straight up,
everything going on. Like,
listening to you guys like more intensely this week, in warming up for this, like it was great to be able to play that around my house.
Yeah.
Straight up, instead of like, okay, kids asleep, time to listen.
Yeah.
And you know
So,
what?
yeah,
Like
but-
honestly, not everybody's gonna agree with that. It's like, man, throw some curses in there, and I get it. You know what I mean? But that's not what we do. And I think that that's the whole point of like being true to who you are and what you
Yeah,
do.
There's a comedian that I really like named David Feldman, and he's a great Emmy award-winning like comedy writer, and he always talks about swear words in comedy as weak, punching up weak cheese. Like if you have a joke, but you slip in like, the joke is whatever, and then I slipped on this thing, and you put on, then I slipped on this fucking thing. It's like you laugh at the fucking. Like I didn't even say anything different, but
I
right.
know, I
And so
I
I think it
heard
does
the
make
same
you. In some ways, it can make a person a stronger writer to limit things and to say like I'm not using that because it has so much power to put in a fuck or shit or like say whatever you want in there, but to leave all that out, I guess you don't run into Kendrick Lamar scenarios as much either.
Well, I'll say this to you. I'll say this.
What do you think about that, Finn?
It's honestly, I know I'm gonna sound like an old guy.
No, I want-
but really,
be
like,
yourself.
I
Be
really,
yourself,
I
bro.
really feel like he set her up for a fall.
Yeah.
I
could
really,
feel that, too.
I honestly feel like he did a horrible job because I'll tell you this, like,
Yeah.
if you know your song that's coming up, right? You know what I mean? You don't call that person up and then go whoa.
Yeah, true. Why did they
Why?
call him up?
Why? Because you're gonna lose a fan.
Right.
You're gonna lose people, right? So what probably happened is he lost fans, right? So pull that person up, let them have their moment in front of 20,000 people, and get them the hell off the
You know
stage.
what? I'm gonna say
You know what I
this.
mean? Like,
I gotta say this.
Don't
I
get me
gotta
riled
add-
up, man.
I'm
Come
riled
on,
up
man.
right now.
You've been chilling all
I'm gonna
day.
say
Birthday
this, man.
party.
Yeah. And happy birthday to you, dog.
Yeah, respect.
My-
Being
my-
a papa.
My other little girl. Kendrick Lamar, he shouldn't have wrote it.
Should have wrote what? The song?
He shouldn't have wrote what was
The
said on
line.
stage.
The line.
He shouldn't have wrote it. You know what I mean? Like the fact of the matter is, man, if I come and
I
I
see
put
what
some
you're
stuff in here and you got, a whole bunch of people that buy your album and what have you, paid money to get into your show, and they're saying boom, 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 you are letting them know that it's okay to use that type of
But are you?
word.
But he didn't do that. He said it wasn't okay.
Yeah, but you know what? The fact of the matter is, man,
but how can he say it's okay when he called her up there to sing it?
I think
No, but
I think a
but
lot
here-
of what
okay.
Finn's saying, like,
Here's the other side of it. Just coming from where I perform a lot and we call people up on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like you can't pull the 400-pound guy up for the stage dive thing. You can't
Right.
pick the white girl from the crowd to come up and rap lines that are going to contain those lyrics.
I'm gonna say this.
Sure.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
goes
Like-
to what you were saying.
Yeah,
about you
but-
know what's coming.
I'm gonna put it on this
I
level.
just feel
No.
like no. Finish that thought. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to put it on this level, though, okay? The words that were said were words that were made by people 400 years ago to belittle our people.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Our race of people.
Sure.
The reason that we don't use those words is because it was made by those people for hate, okay? if Kendrick had put some words about, love or what. Oh, sorry, man. My bad. Sorry. Hey, I'm slowing up. But
He's
the
mad
fact
now.
of the matter,
Getting fired up.
No,
Mad
I'm
now.
getting fired up
Mad
because
now.
We need a button to
what,
press.
You know what? But as I say, those words were made by people to belittle other people. You know what I mean? The fact of the matter is, you don't have to use those words in order to get through to. There's other
Well, it
ways you
goes
could
right
have
to
worded
you,
it.
Soul. It goes right to what
You
we were
know?
talking about, which I
Like,
like.
seriously, you
It goes
could've
back
worded
to you
other
guys.
ways.
You guys wouldn't write something or wouldn't leave the lab anywhere. You might write it, might
Hell no.
play around with
Hell
it,
no.
but it wouldn't leave that space so that it can't get turned around in a way like that.
No,
that
hell
can't
no.
happen to you guys
Well, that-
because
that
you
would
think
get-
about the lyrics in a way that that's not
Man.
going to be something you write. Anybody
That
can
would
come
get
up and rap you
kibosh in
later.
a writing session. You know what I mean? If we heard,
No, that's what I mean,
Let me
yeah.
spit your verse, and then
Oh no, hell no.
No, that- you gotta change
being
that
done.
word, like-
not being done.
And that's happened.
Even
No,
other
that-
artists that collab with us,
Right.
they are told straight up, straight down.
Yeah, we
You
had to
do-
change.
you-
Whose verse do we have to change? Somebody's verse. We had to change somebody's verse one time. And they sent it to. Was it Mocha's?
Yeah, but yeah, for what are you talking for
Mocha
for the original Club Banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and I'm that, yeah. But the fact of the matter is, straight goods artists are even, like some of the youngins that we could be collabing in the next little bit. They were already been told, when you do stuff with us, you do not use certain language. It's as simple as that, or you don't do stuff with us, and that's that. And if that's aging me or that. And I'm not talking about
I don't-
you, so
I don't-
saying
I don't
if
feel
if
like-
that puts a division between Tack and the
I
youngins.
don't feel.
Then that's that.
I don't feel it's that.
No.
I feel like it just happens to be our marker. Like
That's just
that's
what we
where
do,
we
man.
are. That's what we
do.
represent.
You know?
And that's no different than what somebody else represents. You
Right.
know what I mean? That just
Right.
happens to be our thing. That's our lane.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know
So-
what I mean? Like straight up.
That's it.
And that, like, it is what it is. No disrespect to any of the other artists coming out and they have to use those words to get what they want to get across. But as I say, the way that I was raised, and I'm only speaking for myself here. I'm only speaking for Tracy Williams.
Government.
Oh, no government.
When you when you use those words, it means that you don't really know what's on your mind, and you don't really know how to express what's on your mind at that time. Sorry,
Sure.
sorry.
It's like filler. I find it's a lot.
it's
of
just a
filler.
waste of time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
I heard one angle on Kendrick, and then before I say that, one angle on Kendrick.
Go ahead.
In some respects, there was maybe a broader, more meta thing which he was doing. Was that location of that show was in Alabama, right?
Well.
So he told a white woman in front of a mostly white crowd in Alabama, it's not okay to use that word. So there was something bigger than the song or the show that was in that state.
Yeah.
A black man in front of everyone tells a white
Yeah.
woman, you can't do that, stop it, and is
Yeah.
chastised. So maybe there was a bigger political moment that maybe he doesn't know how to contain properly. Sometimes like musicians should be musicians
Well,
and
he's-
not be activists all the time if they're not great at it. I don't know. But maybe that was a bigger message. Maybe he picked it for that reason on purpose to say, I want this moment here. This isn't going to make sense somewhere else. I pick her in, I don't know, New Orleans or something. Maybe that doesn't make sense.
I know, but choosing her as a sacrificial lamb
was
has
mean
not-
to her.
right? Because on a personal level, now she's getting owed it, right?
True.
So that's bad on her.
I wish it'd been someone like last week's guest,
But
EMC,
when
could
you're-
have scratched the word right on the side. That would have been awesome.
But when you're at that level, like, is it like if that was true, if he's trying to
Just
get
to
this
take-
message across,
yeah.
like, is it worth a few fan losses? Do you think?
No.
At that point
might
in
be.
his career,
Yeah.
like
He gains as many
let's
as
be
he
real.
loses.
Kendrick is like can lose a couple thousand.
I don't
fans
think
and
he-
It's
Oh,
not going to
come
hurt
on, man.
Kendrick.
You know
It's
what?
not
I
gonna
think
hurt him.
wins.
You know what? I think that's the whole point, right? Is that no message or no
Yeah.
something hurtful,
Well,
something bad,
man.
and something good. It doesn't really matter anymore. Just as long as it's front line, it's in the news. Oh, now we're talking. Here we are talking about
True.
it, right? So
True.
That's a good
Man.
point. Though.
Any
Yeah.
press is good press, baby. So
So going back to how
you
you
know.
guys have such a big following with a small amount of recordings, I want to bring Voodoo back into the mix here. I asked him the same question. What is it that? What is this? That? How is it that? What did you do to get this? Did you hypnotize everybody? And he wrote very simply said, because our live show is amazing.
yeah.
he's absolutely right.
And then he
yeah,
said,
for
and
sure.
he said, I spoke mostly about the universal part, but when you see us live, you get the soul. No chance of not feeling it. We got you if you're in the room. Seriously, what is an album in these days of downloads? We entertain people. I have a
I feel that I don't even need to add anything.
I have a
like
theory.
that's it.
I have a
That's
theory that
it.
if you move somebody's body, they won't forget that. Like that will stick in them.
Absolutely.
It really, yeah, you like that.
No,
That's it.
hey, listen, he's right on point.
Oh, that
He's on
statement
point.
is-
The ability,
We should put that on the jacket of the next album.
honestly, like the ability to look at somebody while you're on stage and just look at them. I feel like I'm looking into their soul. You know what I mean? It's like, are you having a good time?
Yeah.
Because you're having a good time.
You
I'm
will
gonna
clap
make
your
you
hands.
right. I'm gonna make you have a good time.
but that
Because
statement-
that's the entertainer in me.
That
Yeah.
statement
You
is 1,000% true because before I was even with these guys, Joe would always tell me, "Yo, you gotta come check out my group. You gotta come check out my group." And I finally went to check them out. I was at the Seahorse, it's the Hell's
Stick
Kitchen.
with-
Yeah.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
That's where it was at.
Yeah.
And walked in, and it was a couple acts before them, so we waited, and then they got on, and it was like fucking Jurassic 5 hit the stage, like the energy, the chemistry, like everything was so on point. Like he was hitting his bag ups, David was dancing. You know what I mean? Like Joe was cutting sound effects. It was just like, where did these guys come from? Like I couldn't believe how tight it was, and that like exactly what David said right there is like 10,000% true. Like even before I was ever a part of the group.
Was the live show popping from the beginning?
Honestly,
Man, let me ask-
years of being. I'll answer that.
Yeah.
Years of being on stage perfected the live show for Universal Soul. So there's a reason for all of this stuff
Yeah.
to happen, right?
Yeah.
Black Season. I'm sorry, Down by Law, Black Season. Rhythm and Rhyme.
The Overlords.
His Overlords. You know what I mean? So all of this stuff, it just turned into what it is, right? So just all that time being on stage, perfecting, knowing what he's gonna do, knowing what I'm gonna do, bang.
What's the number one thing that you used to do on stage that you cut out, that for each of you, maybe for all of you, that like you got rid of over the years?
Nothing.
No? Well, what have you amped up then? Because as you said, the stage show, it's gotten
I do
better.
backgrounds now.
I wasn't-
backgrounds, yeah.
I wasn't as energetic.
Yeah.
I wasn't as all over the place. I was more of a
subdued?
I was more of a thinking rapper.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I wanna hit my verses.
You
as
rocking a
opposed-
Kango?
No, I was never had a Kango, but
I've
my
seen a
whole
picture
oh maybe one.
or two.
Maybe one or two, yeah. But
A little suede.
yeah, like it was. You been trolling my Facebook? But yeah,
I
man.
still go through people's tracks.
Okay.
I keep it real.
All right. But yeah, my thing was like, just being able to hit up on stage and just hit people with some lyrics, but not move around.
Right,
And I
right,
realize
right.
now that after looking at people and watching them, seeing how they were, now it's like, okay, I want to be that entertainer that people are gonna walk away where it's like, man,
That guy.
You know what, man? I get in a trance when we go on stage, so it's and sometimes I forget to do stuff because I'm in the zone.
Oh, he's so in the zone.
I'm in the zone when I go on stage.
What's
that's
next?
That's what I
What's
do.
next? That's his
No, I'm
favorite
just in the
thing.
zone. Yeah, what's next, man? What's next?
He,
You know what I mean? Let's do this.
he gets
You know
so in
what
the
I
zone
mean?
he
I'm
can't
just
even
in the
remember
zone.
the set list.
Like seriously, the one thing that I remember, one thing I stopped doing was I always used to sleep right before our set. I would sleep for an hour. Could
that
be,
would ruin me.
could be whatever. No, because I'm woo. Let's go. You know what I mean? So that's just
Look.
that's what I do.
Okay.
But as I say, like, I'd have to say the one thing that I stopped doing is turning around looking at him.
You still do that.
Yeah,
It's hard not to look at him. Look at this
I
guy.
look at him.
Good-looking guy.
All
All right, I
turn
got
around, man.
for people that don't
So,
know, they hear us talking about Useful, how big you are, and this and that. I want to do a little braggadocious about the group here for a minute. Talk to me about some of the people that you've met along the way and got to rub elbows with as Useful. Talk to me about the first time you met someone you were like, holy crap, I'm beside this person.
Okay, so I'll give these guys will probably have a story, but I gotta think about the 2004 Much Music Video Awards.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Take us there.
So for me personally, I'm thinking about like Kanye and
Beastie Boys.
Wait, what?
yeah, Kanye
Yeah?
West. So, but I just want to condense it because I don't want to make the story too long. The point is that
You're
like
popping win.
like I got a blue wristband.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like it's cool, but I'm hyperventilating. Like I'm really nervous.
Really?
Like, oh man, I'm really nervous because I'm looking around and I see a star there. Like approachable, like I can grab you, right? I see a star there. I see somebody over there. And then I look at my bracelet again. I look at their bracelets. Everybody's wearing a Brew bracelet. I was like, I matter. I'm somebody today. You don't know who I am, but this says that I'm somebody. And then for some reason, I just kind of calmed down. I was good. I was relaxed. And then I evened out. But during the earlier part of it, woo, nervous because everybody was just in the room. Oh man, it was amazing.
You know what, man?
It was amazing.
What were you guys there for, by the way? Why were you there?
We were nominated for two
Two video awards
Nice.
Yeah, so it
for
was,
our video way back in the day.
Yeah,
Right.
hip hop
Yeah.
video of the year, and then producer. No, sorry, yeah, it was director of the year.
Director of the year.
Yeah, so big shout out to Bradley Kayford, man,
Shout out to Bradley.
my man. Yeah, but I'd even say for them, but I'd even say even since then, man. Like we hung with Shamar Moore downtown that night. You know, and for those of you who don't know who Shamar Moore is, he's like, what is it, NCIS or what's that show he's on? He's on
Vegas, maybe?
I can't remember which one it is, but he's
CSI?
like.
First
CSI.
40
But he's
years.
like one of
CSI,
them. He's
baby.
one of them brothers, like the Morris Chestnut types that the
That,
women
that
love
was the
this
Jazz
guy.
Fest night, right?
Was it
That was
Jazz
a
Fest?
Jazz
Yeah,
Fest,
Jazz
yeah.
Fest night.
We
So
talked about that
Yeah.
before.
I was hanging
Scott
out.
Master, I
You know, I was
Yeah.
hanging out with that guy,
Yeah.
and the thing that freaked me out is 1 minute, like place is empty, and then Shamar Moore walks in. Hey man, what's up, brothers? Hanging with us,
and then
3 million women out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
are
but do you
around.
remember the rest of the stars that was
Yeah.
there that night? Angela Bassett,
Yeah.
Alicia Heath from Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul. Like, what is all these people doing over here, man?
Oh,
like,
it was crazy.
Lauren
It was
London,
crazy.
like, you know what I mean? It was like, what? All these
Yeah.
celebrities in one
Wow.
place? It was all at the Marquee. Well, first it was at the Jazz Fest, and then everybody went to the after party at the Marquee.
Yeah, and then well, I'll say another story about a quick little condensed story about the video awards. Anyway, we're walking through the fishbowl at these video awards. Just as Fizz said, there's all kinds of stars, what have you, all kinds of different people around. The actress from 227 sees this guy and immediately falls in love. Like, I've never seen anything like it. She looked at him.
What can you
It's
do?
like,
What can you do?
Dreamweaver. Everywhere he
believe you
went,
can get me
she went. She was like, man, she was following. What's her name? Jackie or whatever her name was.
That was their name on
He
the
doesn't
show.
remember.
Yeah,
He can't do
on the
that
show.
to him.
Yes.
No, you're thinking about Jack A.
Is that her name?
No.
She was in Friday though. She
No,
was the one in
she's
Friday.
she's a comedian, Kim Whitley.
Yeah, but she was in Friday.
Which one in Friday?
Shout outs to Kim Whitley.
Oh man, she was on.
Which one in Friday is she?
Nah, she's not on Friday.
No, she's not on Friday.
What?
She's a comedian.
Okay.
She's a comedian. She worked for BET for years. She's
She wasn't in 227 though.
she was not in 227. You're thinking about Jack A.
No, my
But-
bad. But no, she was actually in Friday. She played the auntie in Friday 2 or Friday After Next or something like that. She
I don't
was in
know.
one of them.
But honestly,
But,
she's
yeah,
funny
It
as
wasn't a
hell.
real Friday.
She's comical.
She's
but
funny
she-
as hell.
What's the biggest crowd that you souls ever played in front of?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
I don't know. 20,000.
Where was that?
Scotiabank Center.
Before?
Oh no, sorry, no, hold it.
It's
Yeah,
only 10,000
That's only 10,000.
Yeah, that's only
at max.
I would say probably. What was it? Evolve. It would have to be Evolve.
No, what was that?
Evolve was pretty
It's
packed.
probably, but yeah. How many that year?
was it?
2003 Evolve, or 3 or 4.
2003.
4 or 5. No, so, yeah.
2003.
That was
Yeah,
like my
it's
first
probably-
gig with you
Probably
guys.
That
about
was a-
12,000
yeah.
people.
It was like the
Yeah.
first. It was
12,
like
That's right.
we did the
13,000.
Gottingen Street thing first.
Yeah, and then we did Evolve.
That's
yeah,
true.
and then we did Evolve.
Yeah, I
That's
think
true.
It's probably about 12,
Yeah, that's
probably
right.
about
That was
13,
gig.
probably about
That
12,
was gig number
13,000.
2 with this guy.
13,000.
I
And
have,
one
like,
and one of the
physical
biggest
pictures
shows.
of that.
12,000 people, gig 2.
No, it wasn't 12,000 people. There was
It was
probably. It was
about
probably
10,
like
about 10.
no.
Yeah.
Realistically, it was like between like 4 and 6.
No, man. there's
No,
more
for
than
real,
that.
man.
Anyway, there was a lot. There was a lot of
Man,
people.
What's the
ask
ideal?
Jonas and them. There was
What's the
never that
ideal
many
size
people
for
that
you
evolved.
guys? I feel like that would be like it'd be good. I mean, I could see you guys rocking 50,000 people, but because you put on a great show. But I don't know. I feel like if I had to pick an ideal size, I'd probably.
100,000.
Well, I think I'd do about 250 in a nice club. Make the place.
See,
stop.
that's where we would have like the most fun.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
It's
That's
like
what
an
I'd
intimate
prescribe.
venue.
Yeah, not
Intimate
small.
venue.
Just
Yeah.
I mean,
A good
we
crowd.
still
You know
rock
what,
a
man?
big stage, but an intimate venue.
I ain't gonna lie. I love the Marquee when it's packed, man. I love that stage when it's packed.
yeah.
yeah, you can't get a better stage.
You really
Like
can't.
we played many a show in the Marquee as Universal Soul when the place is packed, and I love that stage when it's packed.
No, it's
It's
nothing
the
like it.
stage. It's nothing like it, But I'd say probably Social Bank Center is the biggest crowd we played in front of.
yeah for the was
Maybe.
it the Haiti benefit? that we did?
Yeah, that
Oh,
that was
yeah.
Pac-Man.
Was
That
that
was
the Haiti? Or
Yeah,
was
that's
it
right.
the-
it was a Haiti one.
Was
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's about 10, 11,000 people, man. That was packed. That was packed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It was
was
standing
that was standing room only.
That was standing room. You know what I mean?
You guys received a commendation from the province of Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Is that true? What was
Yeah.
that for?
Just being ambassadors of music and you know, doing what we got to do. And they also congratulated us on winning 4 awards for the what was it? Yeah, we won
for
Music Nova
ANSMA.
Scotia and for ANSMA
Yeah.
in the same
Yeah.
year. So yeah, because we cleaned up in 1 year, but they just for being ambassadors of music mostly. You know what
Really?
I mean? Like it was real, man. They had a little ceremony at the award show, or was it
And at the
award show?
house.
At the
Right-
house,
right
yeah.
at the house, yeah.
yeah. So you know, like it was pretty big. It was pretty big thing. I
Yeah,
still
I
actually
think-
have it.
I
do
think
too.
you're the only like anybody from rap or hip hop that's ever got that.
We are the first.
I think you're the only
the-
one,
we're
right?
the
I don't have.
I don't know if we're the only one, but we are the first.
We are the only ones.
I don't think any other musical groups or musicians have received that.
I
I don't think so. Based on what
I don't know.
unless they have in the last few days. They
I-
have.
Honestly, it really doesn't. It really doesn't matter to me. We're the first.
You know what?
Wow.
Sometimes it's better to be first than best.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we all know
Right.
what I'm talking about.
Right.
Well,
Uh,
it'd be nice to be both, but you know.
Tactish. What, Tracy? What's your favorite line that you've ever heard this man spit?
Oh man, just
What's one you
there's
love?
so
What's
many.
one you love that like you're in a show and you still love to do it with them because you're like, fuck, I want that too. And you better be thinking
curious
about it
one
because
you
you know
know.
it's coming.
I'm already on it.
You're on
bass
it.
frequently blows the eardrum, non-stop, continuous.
Right in the
continuous
mic.
cry.
Get on that mic, MC.
No, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think backups in this because I memorize all this guy's stuff. So I'm just trying to think. I know all his stuff. I'm just trying to think which one's my favorite. I can't pick a
Well,
favorite
they think
one.
about that. If you just saw their lyrics on a piece of paper, could you tell whose was whose? Like really easy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's the biggest
Guaranteed.
difference in the structures or in the way you write?
I'm more hoodish. He's more philosophical.
Yeah, he definitely used more philosophical words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm more hood. I'm street. I just get right to the point. You know.
But the street with a lot of love, the street without getting, I don't know, doesn't get too angry, doesn't get too. It's not all like I'm gonna bury you,
Oh,
get off my block.
No,
No,
you could just tell vocabulary wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you could split them apart. If they're there and there, bang bang, you can tell.
Yeah.
So
And
what-
it's not like
So what's your
it's
line?
Not that your vocabulary isn't as good. It just Finley uses.
Yeah, you better.
Finley uses
better-
like
you better
TI
skate on
type
that ice,
bigger
buddy.
words. You know what I mean?
You better
The
skate on
ION.
that.
You know how Ti uses like real big words all the
Ice.
time.
Ice.
Ice. But
So what's your
Finley's the
favorite
same
line
way.
of his?
Of who? Of his?
Of his. Or one, just one you like.
I like them all, man. That's what I'm trying to think, man. I'm going through all of them.
I know you're at first edition.
No, actually, to tell you
No?
the truth, I'm at, you know which one? For bipolar.
Okay.
Now you call me heavy hitters, causing heavy jitters. Cause in the heat of the moment, we be like heavy spitters. You know I love you, boo, cause you're phenomenal. But even if you don't think it's funny, I think you comical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I like that, cause that song really was a real. That's a real, like you're getting a real piece of us. Sorry, you're getting a real piece of us for that song.
Yeah.
You know, like that's real. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking about somebody that hurt my ass
Yeah.
bad, and he's talking about his love for his lady.
That's right.
And that, you know, like the fact of the matter is, it is what it is. But his lyrics on that one, man, were real. I could see exactly, you know what I mean, because I love both individuals.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
Yeah.
What about you, FIZ?
My go-to
Nice
is
bombs.
always. Yeah, it was Nice Bombs.
it's
That's
always
funny.
the mic song. We throwing out the nice
Yeah.
bombs.
That was way before Universal Soul.
God sending us a pendulum,
Yeah.
keep you all trembling. Trash, we be. What was it? I can't remember what lyrics. I'm
But,
chaos. I'm
but as
chaos
far
now.
as far as you soul, it's got to be All Night. All Night's one of my favorites.
Give us a little piece of it.
Tracks blessed with sniper ability. You golf for fertility. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just yeah. This guy does all of it. I do the background, but there's just so much energy that comes off of that song, and I love spitting the back
That song
the back verse.
is 20 years old.
Yeah.
It's a big part of why we started doing this in a way. What you just said there, and something I wanted to talk about. Like, we have so much strong history here of people that have really done it, and really, we have a lot of history to be proud of too. So when we say 20 years, I think we're at this place where in hip hop, as a whole genre, it's not that old. You know, we're not even 50 years old.
Nope.
And so we're just getting those people for the first time that have had 20 year, 30 year, like nobody's had a 50-year career.
No.
Nobody. So it's like, I think we need to watch as people evolve through those phases.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you guys are an excellent example of some group that has never really had to change the way they do things, because it was always about connecting with the audience and rocking them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start in an era before digital, before Instagram clip, before digital music's like super heavy, and they're able to transcend that all the way back to where it is now, where everybody's out on the road, they eat from touring money, they eat from the performance in front of people, and the music's like given away just to draw people to the stage. Come. And I think you guys are a very interesting group to look at as young guys come up, to say, this is how we do it long term. This is how we stay relevant and stay true to ourselves at the same time. Because a lot of people chase relevancy and they lose themselves, and then it's just shitty immediately. And we're like, what the fuck is this?
I think the big thing, like, it's, I don't know how solo artists do it versus groups do it.
Right.
But it's all about nurturing. It's all about being able to really validate those people, because, you know, we can easily say that we love each other. It's true. But, you know, to really go and show it, like that's the biggest thing, because, like, aside from the music is true love for each other. You know what I mean? Like a real friendship, a real brotherhood. And I think that's probably the most important thing, because if you don't have that shit intact, then you don't really have anything. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the same way as like a solo artist. Like, if you don't have people in your camp like really down for you,
that's
like
well,
you're not really gonna do
You're
it,
not
because
gonna go nowhere.
you know, it always reminds me of like the emperor in his new clothes. You know what I mean? Like, you're always thinking, oh yeah, this is great, but
Right.
you're walking around with nothing on, right? So you always gotta think about what, I don't know where that came from, but you know what I mean? But you get what I'm saying, right?
I do.
But like
It's about a guy who bought some
Some bad
assless checks.
No,
you know what I mean? And you just thought that he was all
I
that.
got a
But
hole
it's just
in my
to me, it's like one of those things where it's like if you don't really have that foundation, you know, that gravitational pull, just to say, come on, man, come on,
Yeah.
come on, then you don't really have it. And I think that has been the longevity, is being able to like really like, you know, because we've been mad at each other. We've all been mad at each other. We've all had arguments, whether disagreements, you know, annoyance.
Yeah,
but that's what family does.
Yeah,
and
but
I'm proud.
it's-
I'm proud to be able to turn around and say that
but
these
it's-
guys are literally my
It's-
family.
Put it this way,
That's-
I will argue with him. I would rather argue with him than go through bliss with somebody else. I would rather argue
shit.
with him than go through bliss. I'm dead serious. I'm not even joking.
You guys are married.
Me and him are like, no,
Pretty much.
we're like brothers.
You know something? Like, it
know,
really
like,
it's
we
the
are fam-
it's pretty much the same concept as marriage. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be linked together. You gotta understand each other. You gotta respect each other. You know what I mean?
Man,
And if
yeah,
you
this
don't
guy has
have
some good
that,
arguments, but I
These
love
are like
him.
the
He's my
big
brother.
brothers I never had.
No, you know what I mean. So I say
Shit,
and
man.
I love his brother
Feel
too.
for you.
You know what I mean? Oh no, hey, you mess with him, you mess with me.
Of course.
Do 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 do.
But yeah, that's the way that I feel. I feel like that's been the thing for us, is just being able to really be true to ourselves first
Yeah.
of all, and just do what we got to do.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
there's an element of the group that isn't part of the group anymore. I mean, is part of the group, but isn't physically here often. Well, maybe you could talk about that, clear it up for the fans. You can't play with a powerful thing like voodoo and then have it not be there and not notice a difference. What did he bring, or what does he bring that is just uniquely to voodoo? I know that's a big one, but like,
He brings
It's actually.
He
I mean,
brings
it's a big element that he brought. I
Yeah.
don't mean to
Yeah.
Huge
to
element.
diminish that, but the point that I think the thing that he brought was his ability to always be so insightful. Like, he
he's
created
a deep dude.
He
And he's a
created a lot of the
genius.
concepts,
He's
you
a
know, that we
genius.
had from earlier on, like the U-Soul stuff.
Yeah.
And he was always trying to push the envelope. You know what I mean? Like, always trying to push. And with that push, sometimes we get argument or disagreement from us, right? But I feel that he was always really trying to justify that thought. You know what I mean? He was always being progressive that way.
Were
know
you
what I mean?
talking about philosophy, like bluntly talking about philosophy, like when you guys were talking? Was
Well,
it like
our own philosophy?
yeah, like
Oh,
about
yeah. Oh, yeah.
society and life and
Well, the thing, yeah, obviously, I mean,
Bigger
the
stuff.
thing, yeah, the things that generally tripped us up.
Because that's
You
what
know
reminds
I mean?
me of you guys. Remind me of like a Tribe Called Quest or a Jungle Brothers, or like because there was the Zulu Nation and that kind of that knowledge of self and all that underpinning all that. So they actually had themes they could play on. They actually had like a movement. And with you guys, it always feels like there's this sort of this almost like the book of the Church of Universal Soul.
No, but-
but when you say that he brought a lot of those concepts, I don't hear that from a lot of musicians these days. It's like, oh, I'm having a concept album about struggle, but that's it. It's like a one-word concept. It's not like a philosophical life sort of movement into the next future kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys were talking about? 'Cause it feels like he brought a cosmic element.
He brought a cosmic.
I talked to the guy
element
for
sure.
5 minutes
You know
on
what, man?
Facebook, and it's like,
You put
We're
you,
lost.
You
Yeah.
just put took the words right out of my mouth when it came to a cosmic element when it comes to David.
yeah,
Because with that guy, it's his creativity knows no boundaries
no,
at all. You know what I'm saying? Like he's genius. And I'm not just saying that. And thank God this is being recorded. But because I would never say that. No, I'm just saying. But straight up, straight down, he's a genius.
Well, I want to
David-
tell you what he had
David's-
to say
his
about
thoughts,
that.
His thoughts are just.
I asked him the
crazy.
same thing. I asked him what it would be like, what he thinks he brought that isn't there anymore. That's the way I phrased it to him. And he says that, first of all, these guys are my friends and that he's missing them and he wishes that he was at the table.
Yeah.
And he's kept his ear to the ground and loves the new shit. And he says, that we the vibe continues and we had our ups and downs, but who the fuck doesn't? That's a quote.
It's the truth.
And he simply says that he thinks what counts in the end is where you meet after all of it. And not to be cheesy, but we met on love, history, brotherhood, and family. You soul with or without, local or international, you can't change that. And I do miss them damn straight. And then he goes, just Ben mentions the Godzilla story again. But I
brother
feel like
brings-
the bond between you guys is something that the audience has always witnessed. And then if they were like, I like that, they could be extends out into them almost. But you guys have that love that
But I think
it
that
stretches
that's
over the whole globe.
Honestly, though, I think that's the whole concept of why what you were saying when you stretch it out and it's like, man, you guys got a couple of albums and you got all this following. But the truth is that's the structure, right?
Yeah.
People know who we are. They understand. They respect who we are and what we bring. And I think more importantly than the music is that. You know what I mean? Like just that whole foundation of like loving each other, being real with one another, being real with the audience, being able to show that on stage. That's what really gets people motivated to go see a show, right?
I'm just gonna add this little piece. When you've been in front of the camera since 1985 in some way, shape, or form to this point, it's kind of easy for people to, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious about our crew. It's just that the individuals that have been involved with You Soul Down by our whole clique have been in front of the camera or on the stage since 1985. So of course you're going to get a fall. There's just going to be diehard fans. There's going to be people that we had somebody message us about the 3Gs song from you guys. Before I was playing ball. You guys were spitting.
I think
You
that's
know
the
what I
other.
mean? So
I think that's the other thing to what he was saying is like
it's just
because we've been around for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you hear it. This is a great place where it's like, oh, you hear about Universal Soul? No, I didn't. Here, listen to that. You know, so thankfully, people have jumped on board and been like, people that had no idea who Universal Soul was, and jumped on board. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? But I think it's that longevity of being that so-called name. You know what I mean?
Right.
Universal Soul. I don't know who they are. I don't even know what they do, but I definitely heard of them. I've had so many conversations with people just around the way to people that I just met.
You guys,
I'm at the mall. It's crazy.
less than a month ago, you guys were on the ECMA 2018 hip hop stage. And you guys have been on ECMA stages before the ECMAs existed, right? Like you guys predate ECMAs almost.
Yeah.
Almost as a band. What do you think about the health of the scene here from when you guys started to now? I don't think it's in a bad place. I'll put that out there. I really don't. I think we've got a lot to be really proud of. A lot.
I feel like for the very first time,
Yeah.
we have been recognized, but there's still work to be done.
Right.
Like there's still
Recognized
a lot
by
of,
who?
recognized by ECMAs to actually do shows. Like I can
Gotcha.
remember there being one show.
Right.
That was it.
I remember those days.
That was it.
One
right?
hip hop show. That's it.
That was it. Right. Whereas now it's more responsive in terms of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like there's more shows. There's more opportunity to be on stage. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that those award shows need? I asked somebody else this, but you guys I would love to hear your opinion. Do you think those award shows need hip hop more than hip hop needs the award show though? Like you see it with like a Drake is a great example. Doesn't
Yeah.
go to shit because they need him to show up so people watch it. He doesn't need that.
But if you took, like, just for example, like, and this is not to knock anybody that was on the awards gala this
Sure.
year. If you took all the hip hop and urban stuff out of this awards this year,
What would there be left?
well, that's just it. What kind of show would you have?
Not much.
You know, I personally think that all the hip hop aspects or urban aspects of this year's awards were very vibrant and very high energy, and you know, brought something totally different than what you would be used to getting on a
Personally,
regular ECMA program
I think
awards gala.
Yeah.
I think Quake and Glass and Luke bodied it. They
Oh.
they murdered it. They murked it.
And
You
and
know,
even
and
even with, you know, with Luke's doing the powerless, with Class doing the powerless, and even Quake, like Quake didn't move. You know what I mean? But his performance was so powerful, like
I told him personally. I thought that his performance was solid.
so
Yeah,
solid.
Just being able, because it's a blessing to be able to stay in one place, deliver your words,
Yeah.
and have everybody follow everything that you're saying. Like that's, I'm such a critiquer, and I had to, I just felt the need that I had to be in his ear, and let him know just what a great job he did.
That makes a lot of sense, especially coming from what you said earlier about your transition as a performer of going from someone who wanted to stay still and kind of hit the philosophical tip, needed to move around to make sure you're connecting, but
Yeah.
then had that understanding that, man, I'd love to just be able to stand there too, though. I think Quake's really evolved in the last year.
Oh, he definitely
2 years.
has.
Like
He definitely
just
has.
hugely
but the
evolved.
same
Big leaps.
foundation, right?
Same foundation.
Same foundation is doing show after show after show after show. It's
Hustle.
perfect time for him to blow up
Yeah.
because he's already been dope, but now everybody gets to see how dope he is.
Here's
right?
a question for you guys, and I really appreciate the time that you've spent with us, and I hope that we can get you guys back many times. As things happen, we need to check in,
we definitely got to do a
who's somebody-
tax barbecue edition at Tax
Oh,
House.
hell yeah. Who's somebody that people might not know about that you would think is like a name that maybe, history kind of doesn't even know about, who's a dope MC, just someone or a dope person in the hip hop scene over the years that, maybe never really popped up or was just a corner spitter. I find those people fascinating. I'm just wondering if there's anyone that comes to mind. A
Cash.
dancer, anybody.
Nate C, Casper, Short Shane.
See, I know all those names.
I
I'm
know.
still looking for the ones that,
But Casper would be to me.
yeah,
Yeah, out of all that crew. Nate C is.
yeah.
White Mike, another one. Tro. I mean, like there's tons of MCs out there. I think the most unique one that you never heard, that you never heard, might actually be Tanya G.
Tanya G.
Tanya Gray. The Finesse ladies.
No, I mean
They
like
were doing some
somebody.
dope stuff.
Oh yeah, she was dope. But you talking about somebody who's doing it right now?
You talking about Curry?
Either
or you
way.
Talking
Oh,
Either
either
way.
way. Okay, all right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
In the
you said,
history of this
in the-
place,
you're
we're
saying in
shouting
the
out the
history,
people
yeah.
we know, but also the people that I don't want the history to miss them. Like there's people that were dope, that were important, that people like you guys challenge yourself against, even if we don't realize that.
Yeah.
The person in that cipher who kind of held their own a bit, man, I got to pick my game up. Who
Right.
was that? They disappeared into the night. But
Right.
those people matter because they keep us honest.
Yeah.
Those guys will keep you sleep. They'll catch you slipping with like, oh, you did that last time. That's important.
Right.
So sometimes I've been trying to drag that out too. Who are these people?
You know what, man?
Keep
I
it
tell
on.
you, there's a few out there that were pretty dope.
What about Dana?
Dana who?
Remember he was the other member of Unisoul?
I got nothing to say on that.
All
I
right.
guess that's why he's not here.
I think that's a great place. I think that's a great
know what I
place
mean?
to
Like, really?
to end it with you, Soul.
Hey, can I just smile?
Please do, please do. I want to ask the devil real quick before we get out of here. Is this the USOL camera right here, Devil?
Okay, split up.
Because I need these guys to look at a camera or two cameras. you know, we need to give their shout outs. Right. And I want to say thank you guys. Like, it is an absolute honor to sit down every time I've had a chance to talk to you guys.
Always.
But for more reasons than just hip hop, and I think that's one of the things we need to do is a part 2 and 3. You guys are gentlemen, and I mean that in a true sense of that word, who have done a lot to help this place that I call home and I love, separate from anything to do with music, just your influence as people. And I think sometimes it's nice to talk about those bigger demographic realities too, that I know you guys get into that. And I think that's something that the audience would love to talk about too, is the things you've witnessed as you've gone through all this, that evolve some of the bigger issues we're talking about, gravity, you know, other shit.
How to catch a mic when it falls and bring
that
it
was
back.
so slick. That wasn't an editing
I worked my
trick.
inner James Brown on that one.
That's gonna be me.
Drop shit and still make it look good.
My last question is for Fizz. How do I become a Mason? That's the first step, isn't it?
By certain
They're
signs.
not gonna
That's
tell
the
you.
first
They're
step.
not gonna tell you.
Certain signs.
Shout out to
Certain
Mocha
signs.
Only, also a Mason.
We'll talk.
He is.
We'll talk. If you're for real, we'll talk.
Okay, that's what he told me too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Are we ready, Devil? All right. When you guys get a chance, I'd love for you to look right in this camera. And Ivy, we are kind of cutting you out of this a little
That's
bit
all
because
right, man.
you know he's wearing 2 hats, 3 hats. Someday we're going to do the episode where Ivy, we interview him like for each thing he does, and we'll realize, oh my God, like what would happen if he wasn't here? There'd be no East Coast hip hop. Look right here, and shout out to people who need to shout out. Send your predictions and about the future sporting events that you care so much about. I know these other things.
I got a quick little poem after he does the show notes.
All right, let's hit him. Shout out your people right here.
Jeez, I'd love to hear that first, actually. But anyway, yo, it's Fizz, the baritone of soul.
Shit.
Yeah, the 6'5" killer. Coming up to you straight live, baby. Yeah, I'm going to go 85 on the straight live killer.
Straight live killer.
Straight live killer, 6'5", baby.
Who needs love from you? Who you shouting
Oh,
out?
man. I got so much love for everybody.
Birthday love for anybody?
Belated birthday love to my daughter,
There it
Amaya.
is.
Yeah.
Love you, babe.
Yeah.
You can't roller skate, though. We got to work on your roller skate game. But it's all right. It's all good. Oh, yeah.
Beep, beep.
Yeah.
That's a bus backing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Over
she's gonna hate that, but she can throw it at me. It's like, Dad, you can't roller skate either, so it's all good.
Word.
Yeah,
Wheelies wasn't your
we-
friend?
Wheelies
I
was
love
my
it.
friend.
Oh,
Wheelies was my
You
friend.
used to be able to roll.
No. Wheelies was my friend.
Not roller skating.
Right.
I see.
Right, road skate, no
see.
problem.
Right.
Loved it.
That's
Loved
how
it.
you
Still
got
love
that voice going.
yeah.
Off to the side.
That's right. Nisha, you know I love you, babe. That's my oldest. And Finley Jr., you know you got it. And Wifey Shy, same.
Word.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Where's the poem?
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, I gotta say the poem.
Cut into this. Cut into this.
I gotta say it.
All right. Zamundians, you know who you are.
Zamundians.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's my Zamundian Nation, man.
So
You know who you
brought
are.
up Zamunda.
You know who you are. Z Nation.
That's the
Hey,
only
hey.
royal wedding I've ever cared
I'm just
about.
gonna say it. I'm gonna say this. The flag has been planted. The flag has been
Oh,
planted
is this
for
a poem?
Tonight.
Whatever.
Where's the poem? Where's the poem?
Okay, I'll give you a quick little poem.
You hit me with
The
the poem.
flag has been planted for the green and white because I'm a loyal fan. But after the Celts put out the king tonight, we'll see if he's a loyal man. I'm not a bullshitter. Never, ever been a faker. We'll see how many Cavs fans there are next year when the king becomes a Laker.
Ooh.
Garbage.
It's all good.
Is that where he's going?
Yeah, that's where he's going.
It's all good.
I'm assuming
Hey.
that's where he's going.
Shout outs. Wifey, I love you. Olivia, I love you. Baby on the way. Yes, baby on the way. I love you.
Do we know the sex? Do we know the sex of the
It's
child?
official,
That's
man. It's
official?
out. Yeah, we put it out. man.
Okay,
It's out.
okay, okay.
Hey!
They work. They work.
Hey!
I knew it was.
No,
I was like,
we
oh,
put
okay,
it out.
all right,
We had
okay.
it. Man,
All right.
you know, come on now, man. We're older now.
What's your
all right.
favorite video that you souls ever put out?
Gee, you got to think about that. There's only a couple.
What's your favorite?
What's
your favorite?
To be perfectly honest with you, probably way back in the day.
way back in the day?
And the latest one. The latest one. The
All
one
Out?
with All Out, man. I love that video.
Yeah,
Because it's fun, man. It's a fun video.
Can you
know what
look
I mean?
right here and throw it
Oh,
to
sorry.
throw us to all out? Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming through the
Hey,
cut.
man.
just before we go,
Yeah.
gotta shout out the sponsors.
Oh yeah, I always
Shout out to Ascension Barbershop.
Ascension.
Shout out to Canadian Lumber Rolling Papers.
Canadian lumber.
Canadian
Shout out to
lumber.
Articore Designs for hooking us up with the beautiful pendant
Hardcore
chain.
design.
Shout out to Better Beards for keeping us in that
Better
chocolate
beard
coffee.
Oh, chocolate coffee. I love
The
that.
chocolate
Appleton
love that
Estates for the rum in the building.
Shout out to
Can I
Mary
trust
Jane
for
Smoke Shop for holding us
Mary
down.
Jane.
Mary's.
Pharmacist for my lungs.
Hey, I got this one thing to say to Mary Jane's. Deuce.
Shout out to Deuce.
What's your name?
All that being said, gentlemen, always an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see you again. Look right here and send us to that video.
Yes. Universal Soul in the building. You're about to witness the strength of You Soul Knowledge All Out featuring
Everybody.
everybody.
Pretty much everybody. All out.
J. Brew, Miracle, Al Boogie, Quake,
GQ number one.
And Chevy in the mix too.
Brew.
J. Brew, IRS Smooth, everybody.
Everybody.
Joey Desmond in the building.
Tell the people.
Buddy Day made an appearance.
Oh,
Whoa!
Buddy Day. That's part 2. Tell the people that you care about that makes the world an easier place for us all to move.
The
IV. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we'll see you on the Universal Soul plane.
On Circus.
And with that, we are out.
Peace.
Yo, You Soul reappears, yeah, we back again. New floss, old school, still we pack 'em in. We got a little surprise for all you Africans, Chinese, Russians, Indians, and fishermen. You see these dogs right here? Yeah, they staring at you. Assemble the squad, dream team, guns blaring at you. 902 represent all the rated raps. You can hide, but you can bet they be running faster. Ain't nobody stopping us here. All that, it's on and popping the shit.
Got with a sick tight click and went all out.
Shook individuals bounce a blind fed. Ain't nobody stopping us here. All that, it's on and popping the shit.
Got with a sick tight click and went all out.
Shook individuals bounce a blind fed.
I'm as cold as pneumonia when it's 20 below out. UMC, but if you could see the lyrics I throw out, then you would see it's like UFC when I pull out that USB like a bully. I bite the bullet and spit a flow out. Mr. Miracle, audio assassin, one-man team. I will adios the captain, bottles of the captain. Just another day, and just in case you wanna judge, poetic justice was the case.
Bet your bottom dollar on me, get a milli back. Play your cards right, this ain't pity pat, little kitty cat. I'm the shit with your litter at, I'm a shit in that. And hit you with a right hook when you try to give me that. A punchline will rock 'em, sock 'em. I'm rock him locked in a box at the post office. I'm God sent, God FedEx me, so be cautious. And I ain't even supposed to be here, this shit's gorgeous.
Listen, I've been rocking a microphone since the early 90s. Now it's all behind me, something to write in stone. I'm on some new shit. I turned my position slow, sped it up, and now my heart pumps my universal soul. Nova Scotia's in the building. I'll say it once, raise them up and blaze the blunts. We crazy like the Brady Bunch. You might try to brag a bunch to me, you're like a ladybug, potato bug. Ain't scared of y'all, I'm aerosol, rate 'em up.
Chips and cheese, the nachos is nachos. Infiltrating, perpetrating like Brasco. I'm riding Scotia in the dusty ass Tahoe. Like y'all gon' get this work. Y'all know, flows around, they think I'm popping off the lawn nose. No bells, yo, I'm just dropping off the vinyls. I bring that dope shit wherever I go. Cause this that white girl shit, Nevada.
Ain't nobody stopping us here. All that, it's on and popping the shit.
Got with a sick tight click and went all out.
Shook individuals bounce a blind fed. Ain't nobody stopping us here. All that, it's on and popping the shit.
Got with a sick tight click and went all out.
Shook individuals bounce a blind
Now
fed.
is now or never as I test the horsepower down the left leg. Got my second wind the minute my first breath came. I spit that raw blow, I don't mean the West Wing. I'm talking Pablo, Escobar, better get Picasso. Cause I paint my own squares on the chess game. Name ring bells like taco, move like a Tahoe. Burn through cabbage and turn Randy Savage or anyone be a macho.
I'm one of the greats, but I don't need a ring. See, my body of work is worth what the needle brings. IV left freedom ring. See, I'm like a drug that's flowing through your blood. Call me creatine. And we can never stop, yo, we warriors. Try to diss one shit, son, you'll see more of us. We always victorious, cause lyrically we coming through the door blasting Pistorius.
Point to prove, and that's what I'm rapping for. You need guidance, and that's why I'm sunning y'all. The slick talker, metaphor chip stalker, the St. Luke Sky, except Nina Walker, the old school player, Hallie Flash, come on. with no swag needed, especially when the mic's on. Getting pace is great, but I remember what was on my plate served years ago. That was heli flow. Ain't nobody stopping us here.
All out.
It's on and popping the shit.
Got with a sick tight click and went all out.
Shook individuals bounce a blind fed.
Ain't nobody stopping us here.
All out.
It's on and popping the shit.
Got with a sick tight click and went all out.
Shook individuals bounce a blind fed.